Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Preppin Patriots live show. My name is JT, and as you can see, I'm solo tonight, which is cool. It's all right. Cameron texted me earlier today, said he wasn't feeling well, and I said, you know what? That's fine, buddy. I got this. Hope you feel better. Rest, relax, get well for next week's podcast. He'll be back next week. He'll be energized and ready to go. So, what does that mean for me? Here's what that means for me. That means I'm running solo, and we're going to delay what we are going to talk about tonight. We were going to talk about starting a food pantry and how to get going with that. And I just, both Cameron and I are pretty passionate about our pantries. So we are going to, we're going to delay that till next week. So this, my run sheet that I had tonight, that's out the window and we're going to wing it. But we have some help tonight. We have some help tonight, and I'll explain what I mean here. So, in preparation for tonight, I had to figure out what I wanted to do, and I couldn't go to our normal list of topics because those are for future podcasts. So what we're going to do is we turned to the evil AI, which I'm sorry, I'm in tech. AI is kind of my thing. So yes, it is evil. It will eventually take over the world. But we use it until that happens. So I'm going to actually share with you guys how we went, how I got about for tonight's topic. We're going to kind of go through this. And please, this is supposed to be engaging. And so let's make a dialogue. Let's have a dialogue. There's a few people watching right now. So let's make this engaging, shall we? And let me turn off my fans really quick. Oh, so much better. Okay, cool. So what are we going to talk about tonight? So tonight we turned to ChatGPT, the evil ChatGPT, and we're like, hey, listen, in ChatGPT, I have a confession to make. So we use, at least I use ChatGPT to help kind of produce the show. Like when we have topics, we kind of interact with the AI and say, hey, listen, here's kind of what we want to talk about. Give us some, local news or, global news of what's going on about these topics and how they relate to prepping. And kind of it gives us a little bit of talking points, and it just helps us generate ideas and content for the show. But we have to fact check the AI because it's not reliable. But it does help in certain instances. It gives us some ideas. So what we're going to talk about tonight, and I'm actually going to share my screen because this is if any of you guys are into AI and ChatGPT or anything like that, this is kind of cool. So here's basically what I did. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I basically told the AI, let me share my screen here. Yep, here we go. Let me get rid of that. Go away. It doesn't want to go away. Okay, we'll move that up here. So here we go. So tonight, we're going to talk about top 10 current events and how they relate to prepping. But before we get to that, I want to thank everybody who's watching all the social platforms, Facebook, YouTube, X. Where else do we stream? We stream to a bunch of different places. So that's kind of thank you for being here. Want to get going with, before we get into the top 10 of current events, kind of want to start out the show with kind of why Cameron and I prepared in the first place and give you guys an update on what's going on there. So the main reason why Cameron and I prepare is because we believe that eventually the sun is going to unleash chaos on Earth as far as our technological way of life in form of a massive solar flare that will pretty much take out all the technology. So what we do is we watch the sun. It's been misbehaving. Hold on. None of us can watch you. Okay, stand by. We're going to go to a quick break. No. So apparently there's some Facebook issues with people being able to watch. So I'm going to deal with that real quick. My wife just came in and told me, we can't watch you on Facebook. And I don't know why. So we'll figure that out here as we kind of get going and talking. So as we get moving, and that just kind of threw me for a loop. Where am I going here? I'm going to go to Facebook. If anybody's on Facebook, can you drop a comment in and just let me know if you guys can hear and see and all that good stuff. I would appreciate that. I'm live. Heck yeah. Girl, you don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Okay. So, in any case, I apologize for that. Okay. Perfect. Good. Move you down. Yeah, Facebook's working. Yeah. I don't know what these girls are talking about. Thank you, Preppin Patriot. Why? Yeah, well.
It's fine, I'll watch on YouTube, but everyone's commenting they can't watch on Facebook.
That's weird. Yeah. Going. Oh, this is okay. Let me comment here. Hey, never mind. Cameron can't do it because I know Cameron's watching right now. Sorry, go to notifications. Preppin Patriots is going live. Comment. Go to the Preppin Patriots Facebook page. This is turning out to be a disaster. Well, what it is, Cam, is on my, when I posted this event on my personal Facebook page, there were some people who RSVP'd, and those people are texting me right now saying they can't get in right now. So, yeah, you can, which is weird. Anybody who RSVP'd to the event itself can't see. So that's what's going on right now. And there's quite a bit of people that are texting me right now. That's why. And because Facebook is awesome. But yeah, that's the thing. See, let me go into here. Yeah, okay. I need the YouTube link. Yeah, it's not restream's being dumb. Yeah. Okay. In any case, there's people going to other places, so we're gonna get this going. Sorry, everybody who has been patiently waiting. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Cam. I'll post that out to post it out. This is why we need to hire a manager so that they could take care of this for us. Okay, there's people popping in. I see views going up. So okay, people are starting to get it, and they're starting to pop in. So sorry, everybody. We may be getting silenced. That is also very, very true. Can I do that? Yeah, we're definitely getting silenced here for sure. We are such a pain in the butt to the government. We get silenced. So in any case, okay. So now that's some of those technical issues. Sorry everybody about that. It's Facebook. We might do, Cam, is we might just push everybody to Facebook and all of the marketing and stuff. I'll just push them to YouTube. So from now on, because YouTube is way better than Mark Zuckerberg. So in any case, where I was getting at, welcome everybody, those people who are coming in and joining late. I apologize for the Facebook debacle that's still going on. But we'll get that fixed next week. You're not missing anything because Cameron's not here and I'm running solo. So we were just getting into welcoming everybody, and then we're going to get into kind of what we're talking into tonight. But before we do that, as some of you may or may not know, Cameron and I are pretty big on the sun and the solar cycle, and we believe that's what's going to take us out. And we pretty much watch that every week. So we want to start the show every week with kind of an update on the sun and what's going on there. So last podcast, there was this big nasty sunspot group, kind of, if you could see 3713 and 3712 in the lower right hand corner. Those were some pretty nasty sunspots. And there was two of them. And they had the potential to blast off some really, really big ones, but thankfully they were pretty quiet. And they didn't, no significant solar activity. They are starting to turn away from the Earth. So we will see how those develop as they go on the backside of the sun. When they start coming back our way in about 2 to 3 weeks, they should be back around. Hopefully they decay and don't grow in complexity anymore, because they were pretty complex. With what I'm looking at here. And this is spaceweatherlive.com. If anybody who's geeky like me, I get into this stuff. So this one right here is particularly nasty. Like I said, luckily it didn't shoot off any big major flares. So we're good now. As far as what's coming in on the limb here, 3719, this doesn't look to be anything to write home about. So I think all is quiet for now, but we're always on watch, and we'll always let you guys know of any significant solar activity that happens. So there's your update. But tonight, we are going to be turning to AI. As I was saying before, we're going to be turning to AI for our topics tonight, and we are going to get into those new spots are growing. Those new spots are growing, but they're not at a point where they're anything to be worried about yet. Like I said, we keep watching those, and we'll keep you guys updated on how those things develop throughout the week. So, with that said, we turned to AI, or at least I turned to AI, because our topics tonight was going to be on how to start a food pantry. But I really want Cameron here for that, because we were both pretty passionate about that topic. So I turned to AI and I said, hey, listen, just give me top 10 current events and how they relate to prepping. And I vetted this and went to some of these links that it gave me, and we're going to talk about some of these. We're not going to talk about all of them, because if you could see here, number 2, volcanic eruptions, I'm not going to talk about Kīlauea in Hawaii. But it's a good, it's relevant for those people who are around volcanoes. However, these are just things that an AI came up with and related the current events to how it relates to prepping, which I found very, very, very interesting that an AI could make those. I always am impressed with AI and how what it comes up with, but man, how it correlated the two things together. You guys will see. So we'll get into that. So I just basically told the AI, I said, hey, listen, Cameron can't show up, so I need an emergency topic. Tell me give me a topic. Give me 10 things I could talk about, how they relate, how the current events relate to prepping, what's the U.S. relevance, and some prepping tips. So we're going to get into that, and hopefully this could be a engaging for those of you who are watching. So in any case, here we go. So we prep for different reasons. Everybody that preps for different reasons. Some people prep for World War III. Some people prep for financial collapse. Cameron and I, we prep for the sun unleashing a Carrington level event that takes out all of technology. So we prep for different reasons. And other people prep just kind of short term, like, hey, I just give me 2 weeks worth of supplies to get through like a hurricane or a tornado or something like that. And fine. And my coffee is here. Good. Thank you, hon. And so some people prep for the short term, some people prep for the midterm, some people prep for the long term, and some people prep for everything. And I try to prep for everything in our preps. But here are some things to think about as you start prepping, or you're thinking about it, or you're like, I don't know, you guys are just crazy. We're kind of here to talk about this. So let's open forum. I won't get mad if you think I'm crazy. It's fine. So reason number one to potentially prep: heat wave and climate change. According to the AI, there are some severe heat waves going on right now in India, causing widespread heat strokes and fatalities. But man, just here in the U.S., like I'm in Wisconsin, so like it was stinking hot this week. And if you guys remember last year, dude, we had some heat waves last year, and it's just going to get, I believe, it's just going to get worse due to two factors. One, I'm going to scratch the itch of you climate change people out there. Yes, climate change, but what drives climate is the sun, and the sun's going through a whole bunch of adjustments and changes right now based on the cycles that it goes through. So the magnetic field is weakening. That affects weather, like the sunspots. The sun drives everything on Earth. So the weather's changing. That is irrefutable. Like, we all can actually see it. We see some of these crazy storms that are happening. Like, wasn't it this past week or last week? This past week, we had a ton of tornadoes rip through the central U.S. Like, it's the weather's getting crazy. So heat waves is one of those things that can cause specifically on power grids. Like, there's a lot of demand on power grids when it's hot. People running their ACs. They got to have their AC, so they're running their ACs, and that creates a whole lot of stress on the power grid, and that could lead to brownouts. Could lead to some blackouts, things like that. Being prepared for temporary brownouts and blackouts during a heat wave is pretty essential. And one of the things that some of the things that you can do as far as prepping goes for tornadoes, and make sure you got water. Water is key. Water is life. Store some water up. We store 5-gallon jugs of water. We have a lot of them. Store some water. Cooling methods. Just stay inside and just be on the alert for any fatigue or those kind of those heat-related illnesses that comes with heat waves. But heat waves are a real thing, and there's something that we can prepare for, because, like I said, the U.S. especially, like, we've experienced a lot of heat waves the past few years, and that there's a lot of things that come with heat waves that affects crops, affects growth, which affects our food supply. It affects supply chains. It affects a lot of stuff, just heat. So things to prepare for that. So be thinking about that. Like, if you're looking for reasons to prep, everybody's, at least this week in Wisconsin was hot. So that's a good reason to look at maybe getting on this prepping bus. So, global conflicts. This is a big one. I don't want to get too sidetracked on this, but this is a big one, at least for me. According to the AI, of course, the AI did recognize that the ongoing Russia invasion of Ukraine is a big deal, and that it does relate to prepping, because the relevance in the U.S. is global conflicts lead to economic sanctions affecting the supply of essential goods and causing price hikes in fuel and food. I'm not going to get into the historical context. Prepping tips: stockpile essentials, have financial preparedness plan, and consider alternative heating and cooking methods. Okay, I guess. Don't I guess the lesson for tonight is don't fully rely on ChatGPT for your preps, because ChatGPT obviously is not a prepper yet, but we're working on it. But global conflicts, we all know Russia, Ukraine. That's like, it's been going on for a while now. So it seems like at first that was like headline news, and of course we barely see any updates in the mainstream media on Russia and Ukraine, but there's still a ton of stuff going on over there. I think I just read an article before the live show that more missile attacks, more rocket attacks, like Ukraine pretty much has no infrastructure left right now. And Russia Putin just visited North Korea and signed a defense pact with North Korea. That's huge, guys. I mean, that's huge. Russia recently changed their nuclear doctrine again. These are all big things that you haven't heard of on in the mainstream media, but they happen, and it's something to keep an eye on, because global tensions have been rising just with Russia, with China, the whole China-Taiwan thing. Like, these are big events that could cause disruptions in supply chains and disruptions in a lot of like our day-to-day lives, leading up to potential like war with these big countries. I mean, Russia, China, if they band together and go to war with NATO, like that's going to affect us. Like that's going to affect a lot of things. It's going to affect our the price of goods. It's going to affect our day-to-day lives. I just read an article that the House just passed the draft bill. I don't know if it made it through the Senate yet, but they just passed the draft bill. So all 18 to 23, 24-ish males are automatically they will be, if this gets passed into law, they will automatically get registered for the draft. Now, like, okay, the draft, yeah, you got to register for that anyway, but like now they're automatically registered for it. But why would they be pushing something like that through now? Do they know something that we don't? Is something coming that we don't know, do not yet know about? Who knows? I don't want to go conspiracy theory on you, but it's interesting that some of these things that you read about, how they connect to each other. It's really good. So moving on, another reason to prep: civil unrest. We all have seen the past 5 years civil unrest with, the last election. What happened with the last election? There was a bunch of civil unrest there. The George Floyd shootings, some of these other big shootings, the one in Louisville. There's a ton. That relate to civil, like there's riots and protests and all that stuff, and they just keep getting more frequent and more severe, These protests that happened at these university campuses because of what's going on in Israel seem to get more frequent, more severe. Oh, I didn't know that. No, that can't be a thing, right? Cameron just said we're still getting oil from Russia. It's just coming through India. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't want to get into government. I can't get into government talking, because then I'll get fired up and we'll never get through this. But yes, I can imagine our government doing all of that garbage. All right. Civil unrest. Yeah, we've had civil unrest. And I believe, like, even going forward, I'm waiting for November. Like, keep an eye on November and the election, because whoever wins the presidential election, whether it's Biden or Trump, there's gonna be some civil unrest no matter who wins. That's a given. And if you don't think civil unrest can come to your town, we mentioned this last podcast. Like, I'm from Wisconsin, and we have a special guy that lives in Wisconsin. His name's Kyle, and he went to Kenosha. If you guys heard of Kyle Rittenhouse and the protests and shootings and all that happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin. If you don't think unrest can come to your town, it came to the small podunk town of Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I think that was because of George Floyd. That could have been because of something else, but I think it was around that time. But civil unrest is something to watch out for. I just read an article that today, and I don't know how true this is, that there's this person that wrote this article thinks there's a very good chance that during the Trump sentencing hearing, because Trump was found guilty for his shenanigans that weren't really shenanigans, don't get me going on that. But if the judge sentenced him to prison, which is what this article was suggesting, or maybe it was a video. It was a video. This video is suggesting that there might be prison time for Trump. And if that happens, get prepared for some civil unrest. So, oh man, I can't click on that link. When I click on that, I want to go to that link. Can I highlight it? Can I copy it? Nope, I can't even copy it. To go to that article about the Russia are getting oil from Russia, but it's going through India. That's kind of we're laundering oil. I'm not surprised. Yeah, so civil unrest is coming no matter which route you go. For sure, it's going no matter which route we go. Whether it's the election, whether it's inflation, because stuff's expensive. I went to last Friday. I actually went shopping. I hate grocery shopping, but I went grocery shopping with my wife, and I just looked in the cart, and I looked at the bill, looked in the cart, looked in the bill, and I got insanely furious. Like, I was so mad. I'm like, it costs this much for this? Gosh. And my wife does all the shopping. She does all she does all of it. So when our food pantry when we use something, she's replacing it, which is nice. I don't do that. I don't like to shop. So civil unrest is coming. Economic instability, that's another thing that's coming. Cost of living obviously is going up. It's been going up. Inflation is a real thing. And I don't see any signs of relief anytime soon. It's just going to keep going up. And we've been facing economic challenges since COVID. And what happens, I believe, is that there are legit supply chain issues, and companies supply and demand. When supply is low, or when demand is high, supply is low. When supply is low, prices go up. When supply is high, prices go down. And yeah, supply was really, really low. So, businesses inflated their prices, but when supply kind of got equaled out, they never lowered their prices, and it's still high. And you read articles about some of these companies bringing in record profits, just record profits, because they got a taste of the good life, and we are all paying the price for that. So economic instability, that's another reason to start prepping. So having cash reserves, diversifying investments, learning bartering and self-sufficiency skills. So that was actually a pretty good point that the AI made. So I would agree with that. But yeah, prep for economic instability. Have cash in the bank. Have if you're investing, make sure you're diversified in your investments. That's investing 101. I'm not hugely invested in a ton of stuff. It's not like I have a huge portfolio, but I got a little bit. So have those cash reserves. That's a great reason for a pantry, because when you buy today, you buy at today's prices, and when you use it 2, 3, 4 years from now, there's the savings there. So you buy today, and if you freeze dried a dozen eggs that cost $8 a dozen because they're the organic farm raised eggs, in 4 years when those are $15, but you're eating 4-year-old freeze dried eggs, that's a good investment. That's a good reason to have a pantry and to start looking at food preservation, whether it be freeze drying, canning. You're buying for today, you're spending for tomorrow. When you get to there, and that's where the cost savings is for there. So natural disasters, obviously, these are things that we can't control. We can't control the natural disasters. So obviously, we have things like hurricanes and tornadoes and things we've been seeing the past couple of years all over the country. Just depending on which area of the country you live, you're going to see some natural disasters. We're in Wisconsin, and there was record-breaking snowfall during the tail end of the winter, and it was a lot of snow. I had to cut down a few trees in the spring because that snowfall was so heavy that it literally was breaking branches off the trees. Roads were, it's Wisconsin, we're used to snow, so we got the roads cleared off pretty fast, but before we got to it, like the plows were having issues keeping up with the roads, and if that was any other place, or if that was in an area where that doesn't get that snowfall, normally you would be probably confined to your house because the roads would be impassable. And when that happens, you're strictly relying on what you have in your house. So if you only have 3 days of food in your house and the roads are impassable for 2 weeks, which has happened, what are you going to do? If the snowstorm or whatever storm knocks out power for a week, what are you going to do? How are you going to survive? How are you going to live comfortably? Like, all this stuff matters, people. All this stuff matters. We're not even getting into the conspiracy theory, World War III, nuclear war. This is just everyday life that we deal with that is reasons now in today's culture, in today's time, is reasons to start prepping. So technological threats, this kind of gets, now we're getting into not conspiracy theory, but like more attacks and events. Like there's been a lot of rhetoric the past couple of years about Russia, China, North Korea launching an EMP attack on the United States, which an EMP attack, short version, is they launch a nuke to the United States, they detonate it 30-ish miles above the atmosphere over the United States. The EMP encompasses the United States, releases electromagnetic pulse, which is a huge amount of electricity going through the air, goes into very fragile technology circuits like transistors and chips and fries them and takes down power grids, and then we're blind. Lots of talk about EMP attacks. Those are man-made things that would take out our power grid. Obviously, we talk almost weekly about solar flares taking out power grids. We saw a month or so ago when everybody saw the auroras. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so cool, aurora." It's like, you don't really understand what that did. I mean, that event, unleashed six solar flares in succession, took out multiple hundreds of satellites. I think there was 40 Starlink satellites that went down. There's a bunch of other satellites that went down. Communications went down. There was RF blackouts. Like, it affected technology. And some people felt the effects of that. Cell phone degradation in cell phone signals. That was from the sun, people. And those weren't even like large solar flares. They just happened to come in succession, but they did affect us. And so, yeah, another one that's not on here I did think of, and Cameron's way ahead of me, hacking, hacking to take down our power grid. I mean, I believe, now this is just my belief, I believe they're already there. Like, I believe that malicious actors are already inside our power grid, just waiting for the go-ahead to flip the button on that. And when that happens, it's going to be a little bit before it comes back up, because we have to figure it all out. We have to identify the malicious software and all that stuff. And it could be a couple weeks or a couple months. Who knows? But I don't think people realize how fragile our power grid is and what happens when you don't have power. Like, what would happen? Just do a thought experiment tonight about what would you do if you had no power for a week? Or what do you think would happen if you had no power for just a week? And just go through that thought experiment. And no power, I mean like nothing, no lights, no toilet, because toilets operate off big water pumps from the city that pump water to your house. No way of cooking, because nothing works. Like, what would you do? Just go through that thought experiment and get back to me. Pandemics is not, I mean, we could talk about it. We all experienced COVID, shutdowns, lockdown, the toilet paper crisis of the century. Happened during COVID. I didn't run out of toilet paper. Why? Because I was prepared. My butt got wiped. Can I say that? It did. My butt was clean. I didn't have to worry about toilet paper. We had toilet paper. But all jokes aside, like, COVID with the lockdowns kind of was a wake-up call about, hey, these things do happen. And there's a growing concern with the avian bird flu right now. Lots of articles, 4 World Health Organization, Cleveland Clinic. I was just reading a bunch about how the avian bird flu is affecting, obviously, birds. It has been for a while, but it's been jumping to cows. There's some cases where it has jumped to a few humans, and then humans are different. Their bodies are different because they become incubators for the thing. I'll say they're incubators for change. When something like the bird flu gets into humans, like it has a better opportunity to morph and change and become something way worse than what it is. And currently, the avian bird flu it's a 50% mortality rate if you get it. Like there's a 50% chance you ain't making it if you contract the avian bird flu. Not a pandemic yet, but there's a lot of folks that are thinking it's going to be. A lot of people with money. Bill Gates is one of those guys that thinks that this is a big deal. We should be paying attention to this. Obviously, we're not paying attention to this. By we, I mean the awesome, amazing government we have. I mean, they're so good at what they do. Like, they're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. But there's a lot of things that they're not paying attention to. Not anything we've talked about, they're not paying attention to because I'm not going to go there. They're too busy filling their pockets with profits from defense contracts, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, not going to go there. So in any case, pandemics and healthcare, it's a thing. It's a thing, people. Stock up on medical supplies, understand quarantine procedures, and ensure hygiene and sanitation according to the AI. That's what the AI thinks you should do. Number 9, reason to prep, food and supply shortages. I mean, that's the thing too. We saw COVID. There were some food shortages, supply chain issues. There still is. Food's a little more readily available at the grocery store. But one thing I did notice when I was at the grocery store is that, like, you don't get as much in the same package. That's the same price. Like, you don't get as much. So a thing of mushrooms, like, used to be whatever $4, but you just get this huge thing of mushrooms, and now it's still $4, but you get half, which is giving the illusion of everything's fine. But I think they're just packaging things smaller for the same price. That's kind of what goes into inflation, because now you're having to buy more of this. You have to buy more of the same thing to get the same quantity, and you're spending more because there's shortages, but they're creatively rebranding things and repackaging things smaller so that we're none the wiser. So we're just sheep, and the wolves understand. These people that are in charge, they're smart. They're smart people. They ain't dumb. They're in charge they're in positions that they are for a reason. They got there because they're smart people and they know how to manipulate. Okay, not going there. Cybersecurity threats. Yeah, this is something we just hit on with some of the things from before the technological. There's a lot of cybersecurity threats. So cybersecurity targeting critical infrastructure. Cyber attacks can disrupt utilities, financial systems, healthcare on services, and healthcare services. Historically, so the AI wants you to protect your personal data, have a backup of important documents, and understand how to operate without digital tools. That right there is going to be the hardest thing for people. How to operate without digital tools. I challenge everybody to take a weekend and put away your cell phone. Put away the computer. Put away the Xbox. This would be hard for me. And go a day without technology. Go a day without anything digital in your lives. So it's a real thing. Cybersecurity is a real thing. I'm in the technology space. I'm not in the security space. I dabbled in it, and there is a lot to it. And yes, there's a lot of things that we are not prepared for as far as this cybersecurity goes. And your data is everywhere anyway. Like, whether you like it or not. If you're on Facebook, if you got a phone, if you got Siri, if you got any of these things, like, they listen to everything. They know what you're talking about at all times. If you want to test me on this, have a canned conversation with your wife or something, and talk about something like that you would never ever buy. Let's just say I want to look into a foot massager. Man, I would really like a foot massager. maybe that foot massage would be cool. I bet you within an hour, I'm going to be getting ads about a foot massager on my phone. And you all have been there. You all know what I'm talking about. So, it's a thing. AI is everywhere. Our phones know everything about us. Like, it's all getting collected in data vaults and getting used to market to us. It's part of the plan of global domination by the elites. Some resources I want to share with you guys really quick before we wrap up. Okay, I've already showed you space weather, spaceweatherlive.com. Here's the article about that I was referencing for heat strokes. This is a good website. It's a good website, but yet you just got to be careful on how you use this. This is prepping.com. Prepping.com has a bunch of news and articles and things like that you can read. Again, be careful when you go on this. Some of this is fluff, some of this is conspiracy, so you just kind of got to muddle your way through it and figure it out. But this is good because it's got a lot of content creators. This is the video I was referencing about Trump. Like, he's going to serve years. What happens now? There's a lot of content creators that are on here giving their advice and talking about prepping, things like that. Here's some articles that is on here, and these get pulled from a bunch of different resources. So prepping.com is a good one for if you want alternative news. Look into alternative news, and again, some of this is legit. Some of it you just got to be careful. And not buy into some of this stuff, because some of this is going to be marketed towards you purchasing prepping supplies. So just be careful. But for the most part, it's good. I've only run across a couple ones that I was like, It's got some podcasts on here. Preppin Patriots isn't here yet. It will be, but I can't. You'll see like Prepper Broadcaster Network. I can't recommend those guys enough. Go listen to those podcasts. They're a group of guys that just do podcasting together, and a really good group of guys over there at the Prepper Broadcaster Network, and just some other content creators for podcasts, things like that. So prepping.com, it's a good resource to have in your arsenal as you guys are doing research and as you're looking at this stuff, as you're looking how to prep and things like that. It's a good thing. So, in any case, we're going to wrap it there. We're going to wrap it up there. Shorter podcast. We had some technical difficulties with Facebook. We'll figure that out. Cameron will be back next week. As you could tell, the podcast isn't as good without Cameron, but I have to just talk to myself. So, yeah, that's it for me. We'll see you guys next week. And as we wrap up, remember, preparedness isn't just a hobby, it's essential. Life doesn't go as easy on us as, oops, it's not a survival strategy. So keep your pantry stocked, your plans ready, and your mindset sharp. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and keep turning the what ifs into I got this. So happy Preppin Patriots. We'll see you guys.